Hey folks, this is Rod with Win by Doing. This is live. I don't know how well it's going to play through. I don't know if anybody is in the chat or jumps in the chat. Let me know if you can hear and see me. I'll try to. I'm just working from my tablet right now, so I am trying to do a makeshift camera stand here. We'll see how well this goes. If you've been following my channel, let me see if I can get some better light here. If you've been following my channel, you know I was having issues with getting a pallet from direct liquidation. We purchased this through auction in February, and it took us a while to get it. I'm going to have to say I couldn't get a hold of anybody to figure out why we weren't getting it. I had the shipping company, our freight company, go there twice, only be turned down, and well, I finally got a hold of somebody in the freight company that's worked with direct liquidation. They had contacts over there to find out why our pallet wasn't being shipped or wasn't being allowed to be picked up. And with that contact, we it was the next day. It was scheduled for pickup. So we do have our pallets. I thought I've already kind of torn into it. This was mainly like lawn and garden home tool lot from direct liquidation. Paid $250 for the pallet. Being here in the inland northwest, the thing that kills you is shipping. We paid right at $420 for shipping. So we'll see how this goes. Some of the items will be pushing through our auction. Some of them may be sold outright. So I am still here. I don't know what that humming is in the background, but I want to pull up a chat just so that I can maybe monitor that as well through there. So bear with me for just a second. Slowly waiting to see if anybody's going to jump in. Hello, Michelle. How are you doing? I was mainly making sure that I was going to be on my main channel. I hope y'all can hear me fine. Like I said, I am working from my tablet right now, so we'll see what happens. Since you just came in, I finally got our direct liquidation pallet. Is it a company I'll deal with again? Probably not, just because of the headache it took to get our goods. From my understanding, from what I've been told from the freight company that works with them, that they've been super busy. But I understand. If your company, just let me know what the situation is. It's a lot easier to have a little more understanding when you know what's going on than to not be able to get a hold of anybody um, at all. So like I said, $250 for the pallet. Again, sorry for the lighting. It is overcast here. And let me see if I can tilt that down a little bit. Still, I need to turn off the uh, automatic adjust for the lighting, but we're just going to have to deal with it. So again, it's lawn and garden. If you guys haven't bought liquidation pallets before, typically this particular one, even though the site said it was manifested and it had a list, I looked at the manifest and it had items that were going to be on the pallet. When I contact them after the purchase to get the dimensions, I had to wait for them to put the pallet together. I didn't quite understand that. If it's manifested, I just assumed that the pallet was already packed. Well, it wasn't. And what I was told from the representative that I spoke to is they just put a manifest out there, and that is typically what items they put on these types of pallets. So then my fear was I didn't know what I was going to get. Through the entire experience, like I said, I purchased this back in February. Here it is, April 3rd. It just got delivered today, and it was having they had first it was my order had two files in the system. That's what I was told. I don't know what the heck that means, but that was keeping it from being dispatched. Once that supposedly got fixed, I had to contact the freight company to have them sent out again. So after two times, the freight company was not able to pick up the pallet. I contacted a representative from Direct Liquidation after that, and his response was, "Well, do you want us to cancel the order?" I was like, I know, this was an experimental trying out a new liquidation company. So we bought one pallet, but is that your first response when you're working with new customers that could potentially grow into larger ones? Is do you want to cancel the order? I said, no, I don't want to cancel the order. I want the goods that we purchased. So they still didn't help me out. Like I said just a few minutes ago, we had um, I found a contact in uh, ShipQuote. I think that's the name of the freight company that, or freight scheduler that worked with Direct Liquidation, and they got a hold of their contact over there, and within 24 hours, the pallet was picked up and it was on its way. So I got a call today. I was actually going out to. We've been working with some folks that flip houses, and we've been buying products from these houses that they've been purchasing. So I've been using the ice cream truck of all things. It's got a lift gate. I've been using it to go pick up stuff. We finally had to rent a storage locker, which that's where we're at right now. It's already about half to 3/4 way full because our store is at capacity. So that's one. It's cheaper to rent a storage unit than to buy more retail, do a more retail space. So the auction is doing well. It's growing. I still have not gotten out of my full-time job. I'm pulling up the chat if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm trying not to be rude. I just I thought it would be easier to monitor the chat through there. So yeah, we're still running our weekly auctions. Bid more to win with a number two. It has been a challenge. It's just been busy all the time. If you figure, I used to. I thought you bought a unit. No, I actually have not bought the unit. I We had to rent one, but we have bought 2 units this year. We have bought the contents of 3 houses. One of them was a massive. It was like 5 or 6 truckloads. I have a probably 20 foot of cargo space in this truck, um, give or take a couple feet. It's a pretty large step van. So one house we pulled 5 or 6 truckloads out in it, and the other one I've got a couple pieces of furniture in here. I got a dryer, furniture and some knickknacks. So I got antiques and a lot of vintage items from the biggest one we bought, and the other house. It had some furniture pieces and some Ertl trucks and some other collectibles and dishware and stuff that we'll be pushing through the auction. But compared to eBay, I was a big proponent. Just like everybody else says, list daily. Your sales will increase, and so I was really trying there for a while to do 5 to 10 items a day till I got my store up to about 520, 530 listings. You take that and you take it times 10. I mean, right now we're pushing close to 500, in between 450 and 500 items a week through our auction site, and that involves photographing, doing the listing, creating the titles, the descriptions, all that, the same things that you would expect to do on an eBay listing. That's what we're doing on a weekly basis, just at a larger scale. And trying to maintain a full-time job at the same time, it has definitely presented a challenge. Not to mention all the things with typically starting a business, having employees. We've got one employee now, so dealing with getting payroll set up, workman's comp, liability insurance on the building, all those things that it might not be your first thought when you're going into starting a new business. It's been a learning process. and sometimes and just an added stressor doing that. So today I thought, I got the pallet in. I might as well go ahead and just show you what $250 plus 420 shipping costs. This came from South Carolina, and it is all. Can you put in a link your auction site later? Let me do that. Our auction sites, if I can get my phone to recognize I'll put it in right now before I forget. That actually goes right to the current catalog. Our hello Claudette, um, Gulf Winds. Hello, I'm trying to catch everyone. Uh, that's a link to the current catalog. Like I said, our auctions start Saturday night and end on Wednesdays. I'll tell you the other thing: we ship, and that's where I'm lacking the most. And I'm really trying to work at building processes to speed that up. Unfortunately, it's taken up to 4 days to get items out. I currently have probably around 10 customers that we ship to on a regular basis, and luckily they've been very understanding and patient with me, but that is no excuse to keep that level of service. So we are working on building a shipping station. I bought a peanut dispenser. I've got boxes. I've got everything ready to go. So if you do purchase from us, we are working on our shipping processes. And if you're not sourcing at auctions, I will tell you it is a great place to source, whether it be an online auction or your local auction house. Just when you go in, understand the style of auction that you're going to. And I would say typically it takes you probably 4 to 5 auctions to go to before you're comfortable, and that um, for some people there's a level of anxiety that occurs when you go to a live auction. So I tell people, if you go the first time and don't like it, just stick it out. Hello, Bianca. Thanks for jumping in. And there's my wife. Hello. Can I call you back? I'm online, so okay. Love you. Was it an emergency? Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay. Yes, John. I got the pallet. But anyway, I tell everybody it takes about 4 to 5 times going to auction before that level of anxiety kind of diminishes. Um, that was my wife. Um, so the thing is, my personal strategy, I pick up table ends, and I find some really good items that way that other people just don't recognize. Of course, I'm sourcing a lot of things that are outside the box, uh, things that when you watch the bulk of resellers giving you information. The problem is a lot of those items over time. I personally believe the market starts to flood a little bit, so you got to really definitely be looking out for that, making sure you're checking out number of listings live, um, looking at of course your solds, your rates, and everything, and all that. Everyone knows that all goes into play, but the other thing about going to auctions, especially newer ones, you're going to find the items for a fraction of their value. We start everything out at $2. There are certain items that will have a reserve on them, depending on the value or the least amount that the consignor wants to take. But for the most part, things on auctions typically go fairly cheap. So I think it's a good way to source, especially if you live in areas where garage sales aren't kicking, whether it be due to weather or due to population. You can and high bid is nationwide. I think they might have some international sites, but just go to highbid.com, hibid.com, and you can browse by your area, and even find some auction houses that are local to you. Some of them ship, some of them don't. So make sure that you contact the auction house, or read their about section to get to get all that information before you purchase. Otherwise, you're going to be driving a long ways because you didn't realize they ship. We've had instances where people buy large items that may live in California, Seattle area, southern Idaho, and not realizing that we were up north. And so just make sure that you check that out as well if you're checking auctions. So we are going to do an unboxing per se. This is returns, shelf pulls. A lot of them have information on what's wrong with it or what was put as a reason. We're going to go through this stuff before we run it through anything, whether we're selling it on the auction site or selling it through the local markets. It's a balance between the two. What I do, I don't like to cherry pick anything but I know that there's some, in order to keep the store running and maximize some profit, I pull a few items out and try to sell through the local market. But some of these items are probably going to go for, 10, 15, maybe $20. We will see. Only time will tell. This is the first pallet like this we bought. The last one that I purchased was Target returns and shelf pulls, and there was a lot of toys and stuff like that. In that pallet, I was telling you earlier, they usually have a filler item, and I think that you are going to notice quick what the filler item is in here. So again, there's going to be multiples of items, but I just thought I'd show you the contents. If I can get back where there's light, this first thing, it is a 2-cycle gas trimmer, and as you can see, the box is mangled. On the it just says damaged. Now I'm going to go through and see exactly what the extent of the damage is. That would be perfect auction item. It may be missing a screw. They dropped the screw and forgot the and couldn't put it together. I don't know. We'll see. It could just be that the box was damaged. But I am by no means an expert or proclaimed to be an expert, but we'll see. This one, it looks like it's in the original packaging. This is a 2-cycle leaf blower, and it just said damaged on the label. It looks like it might have been in the original packaging, but we'll have to see. I can pull one of these out just to kind of see if I can easily identify to what extent the damage was. It could just be that the box was damaged. It looks like it was open. There are screws in that package there. If I can actually get it open. So, looking at it initially, it looks to be in pretty decent condition. We'll see if I can adjust. Oh, you know what? Right there, I think right there's the problem. Unless the other, I see the problem right now. This attachment here is supposed to click that in, and it is not clicking in place, and it just needs to be pushed out. I think that's an easy fix, but otherwise that's a great. Oh no, you know what? I see what it is. It's actually, you have to know how to put them together. That might be why they thought it was damaged. This actually goes in here. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at that. Maybe they just couldn't get it started. It doesn't even have, oh, I do see the problem. It's missing a piece. They probably either didn't put it in, or I don't know. I'll have to look into seeing if you can buy that replacement part. Oh, no, there it is. What the heck is wrong with that? I don't see anything, folks. That looks like a good leaf blower right there, boys and girls. So, who knows why they would have said it was damaged, but it could just be box damage. A lot of items we see it is, at least in the last couple pallets, it was mainly box damage. But there's a leaf blower. I could do a count, but I would lose track. Here is, this looks like it was open. It's a jump starter with 120 psi compressor, 400 peak watts power inverter. We'll see how much room I run out, and let's make sure that I don't drop my. Here's another jump starter. This one is a little different. This is 1200 peak amps, 600 cranking amps, and it was. Let's see if I can see what the. It just says damage. So again, I'll have to pull this open. Try to make a determination if it was just the box damage. If somebody just said it was damaged so you get their money back, who knows. This one was not in box. It'll be interesting to test this out. It does not have the cable. It looks like it has been used. It does not have a reason on here. It's a Stanley FatMax Power 1000 amp. It has USB power supplies. It has a jump cables. I'm trying to find on this particular model where you would plug it in. That's a compressor cord. All these have a compressor cord on it. And that's right here's a plug. So you probably just put a regular, many of these come with a cord, but it probably comes with leaf blower. I have a couple of leaf blowers if anybody's local and wants to. I don't know if I would ship a leaf blower unless I left it in the package. It's probably going to cost pretty penny for shipping. Here is a Black & Decker 800 watt grass hog, 35 centimeter cutting range. We'll see if it has a reason on it. Like I said, these are coming with little tags that say what is what's wrong. I mean, I don't see anything on here. It doesn't have any damage. Oh, here we go. What's it say? It says damaged again. So it looks like I'm going to have my work cut out for me going through these and trying to figure out, making sure all the parts are there, making sure, plugging the jump boxes in, and this might be something I might need. It's a hitch mount folding 4-bike carrier. I'll definitely have to see if all the parts are in there. Yes, it should rattle like that. Steel frame fits 1 1/4 inch and 2-inch receivers. I don't think I have a 1 1/4, but I might have a 2-inch in there. Okay, I'm going to try to say hello to folks as they jump in. I see a couple of pickers jumped in. If I missed anybody else, let me know. Look at this. Can y'all guess what the filler item is on this pallet? Here's a 750 peak amp jump box. Let's go through some of these. Here's another 750. Look, you get an EverStart jump box. You get an EverStart jump box. Everybody gets an EverStart jump box. Here's a little bit bigger one. This is I guess this one's a 400 or 1200 peak amps. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. Well, let's get this out of the way. A 24 volt max. Looks like a trimmer. I don't know if you can see that. Let's zoom in. Look, what does that say? On the tag it says, it doesn't say anything. So hopefully that works. The more voltage you get on those items. I don't typically do battery powered or electric. I personally bought 4-stroke engine. Weed eater last because I didn't want to mix the fuel. Here's another one of those 24. This one has been used, so it worked at one time, but if nothing else, if the charger works and the battery works, hopefully those can be interchangeable for other items, and I could still make some money on that selling just the charger and the battery. We got another one, 800 watts Black & Decker lawn trimmer. This one has been opened. It doesn't have a sticker on it. Wait, it goes right there. What's that one says? Again, it says returned because it was damaged. So that's going to be interesting to see to what extent, and I'll keep y'all posted as I go through these, if I find, or what the percentage of items that I find that are damaged and what aren't. But another 750 watt, peak watt jumps box. We have Hypertuck 2-cycle 25cc leaf blowers, not just one. We have two. This has been a gamble, I will let you know. So because we haven't purchased pallets like this before, let's see. That looks like a good pallet. Did you say I paid $250 for the pallet? Unfortunately, because I'm in the Northwest, it cost me $420 to ship. So, all in all, what is that? Quick math, $670. So we'll see. Like I said, we went into this kind of as a gamble, just to see, just to try it out. We like to experiment here at Win by Doing. We have 20 volt cordless drill. I might be okay going down to 20 foot. I need one here at the storage unit. I have not broke that down by my wife did. She's the one that actually bid on the pallet. She broke everything out by pallet or by item, but I'll be taking a closer look at it soon. I want to say, I don't know. It's going to be. I mean, I could give you a rough estimate. We've already done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We've done about 18 items so far, and we probably got close to that left. So it was pretty full. And I know that seems irresponsible to just go out and buy something. My wife did. I mean, that was the max she was willing to gamble on the pallet. So she has a better idea than I do. I mean, I don't even understand how this could be damaged. I'm going to have to take a look at it. But this has been used. The spool and everything's still there. It's an electric weed eater. Sometimes I wonder if people just return it because they decide that their extension cords are too short, and they decide to go with gas instead. Here's one out of the box. It's another jump box with. I mean, that thing, it's got power right now. It's got 12.6 volts. It's on ready to start. I could plug my phone in right now and see if it works, but it's at least powering on. No, it's fine. We are. I don't think it. I think probably value. Everything is probably. I don't know. To be honest with you. As far as a gem, I don't know. We kind of had an idea what it was going to be in it going in, but it's been since February since we purchased this. So after all the anger, the frustration, being upset with the company we purchased it from, all that escaped me. So I apologize for not having more information on that, but. It's going to be. See, this one says it is that reason for return is it does not work, but I sat there and powered it on, and it's turning on, and it appears to work just fine. The bum crack jump in. Like I said, I miss my chat. I rotated my. Oh, ABCP, welcome. So I mean, initial inspection, even though this little tag says does not work, it seems to, I mean, it's powering on. I don't have a dead battery, but you know, it might be the case where somebody went, needed it to jump their car battery. They're sitting at Walmart or wherever they sell these EverStart jump boxes, had dead battery because they left their lights on, went out, jumped their car, and turned around and returned to get their money back. Again, this one does not work. It's another 1200 peak amp jump box. So as you can see, the going theme here is jump boxes. Now this one was the odd one. This is a, I think it's a Stanley. This thing looks like it's been through the ringer a few times. So either somebody decided they just didn't need it anymore. I mean, there's like paint splatter on this. There's dirt and grime. There's cobwebs in the back of it. It is definitely a used item, but we'll just have to see actually how used it is. And I don't see any indication. It says it's got low battery, so we'll have to see. That might be the one that I use. So it looks like I am going to be sourcing everybody in the area with jump boxes. Now this one's kind of cool. It's a 20 volt Hyper Tough 20 volt. If anybody knows who sells Hyper Tough, let me know. But it's a 20 volt toolkit. I mean, it has hammers. I don't know if you can see that. It has a hammer, it has bits, crescent wrench. This might actually be the one that stays here, as well as a jump box so I can recharge it. But the answer for the exchange, it says damaged, but the reason it has handwritten in there is bit broke. For those of you that may not be experienced with drills, bits break. That's why you have to buy replacements. Let's see here. We have a 17-inch look at that. Hyper Tough. But does that have a return reason? I did not see a return reason on there. Just that it was returned. But it's a hedge trimmer. You know what that beeping sound? It sounds like maybe one of these might be on it here. I hear this high-pitched beeping, and I thought it was coming from outside the truck, but the more I sit here, the more I think it's... That's going to drive me freaking nuts. This is a 1200 peak amp out of the box. And it is completely dead. But this is what those jump boxes look like. Again, that's going to drive me freaking nuts. Another jump starter. Yes. What would I do without jump starters? Look at this. Another no. It's saying there was an exchange. No something. I can't read their writing. A grass hog. No bumping required. Another electric. It's really funny. It exchanged it because it had no something, but it looks like it had quite a bit of use in it before it was exchanged. So again, I will be testing all these things out just to see, just to make sure that they are sellable. This one, battery removed, 60 volt max. Oh. So this one does not have the battery, but it's a battery operated. And it's sad that they don't put with these a... so I probably won't get much for this. I mean, if I get $5 for that, I think I would be lucky putting it through auction, because I imagine those batteries are probably $20 to $30 a piece at minimum. All these batteries have been removed. I'm gonna have to look into these. Here's another one of those hedge trimmers without the battery, but it's a huge battery compartment, and this one has been used. Let's see. And I imagine they removed the batteries. If they would have left batteries in these, the shipping would have been probably minimum $200 more, just because of that they can't fly it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Walmart sells Hyper Tough. Thank you, Gulf Winds. I used to be a tool buyer in the past life. It feels like a lifetime ago anyway. Got to make sure that I see you guys. That's what I'm out here for, so I can actually have people to talk to when I'm working. And actually, now this one, the box is in Odd Pour the Wilfredo Assist. I don't know. I almost think it's in a foreign language. Definitely the box has seen greater days. But it looks like it's also been sitting in storage somewhere too. There's some water damage to the box. The box has been taped up, and I can't read what it is. I think they just use a blanket return reason of damage, whether it's actually damaged or not. And it might be. I'm just gonna rip into that just to see if. Yeah, this has definitely been used. So another used weed eater. This one it looks like a 2-cycle. Let's see. We're almost through this. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. After the first 10 jump boxes, you just can't get as excited about it. There's another 750 peak jump box inverter. We have another in. This one looks like it's still in box. 3.5 amp, 17-inch hedge trimmer. So that one should take any extension cord. Can you say chainsaw? That's the first one we've seen. That here in the Northwest, it has been used. I mean, I think it's just a battery operated one, to be honest with you. Here in the Northwest, most people prefer to have a nice big gas powered, but I'll take it. We're getting to the bottom of the pile here, or the back, however you want to look at it. We'll go through these pretty quick. Weed eater. This one's an electric. Weed eaters. Man, I'm getting buried alive in weed eaters. Of course, there's not going to be fuel in it, but it has been used, and there's oil leaking there too. So definitely have to check that out. Hopefully, it's not leaking oil. These are all used and reused, return, but they all seem to have decent compression, which is a plus. Well, we know the light works. Another jump box. This one is on. It is. It's got a low battery. It's got. I mean, what I like about this, I could probably charge my phone right now if it was getting ready to die. But you know what? It's part of it's going to go local. Part of it's going to go through our auction. It's all going to go local one way or another. More than likely, it's going to be a combination of both. Another gas-powered weed eater. Now, the straight shaft typically do better. That's what this one is. If you're not familiar with weed eaters, this is a shaft. Straight shaft versus curved, which those other ones were. Those will typically around here anyway. Those will bring a higher, more value. and there's the curve shaft. The fun thing is going to be putting this in the storage unit now that I've just piled it around me. And I mean, I don't know how much could go wrong with a portable air tank. The only thing I can consider is maybe the threads got crossed, but I'll have to bring my compressor over and fill that up. These are always handy to have. I should have brought a knife too, but I did not. But it has been out of the package. The only thing I could possibly think is if, I mean, everything looks pretty well sealed. Sometimes you might get some leaks around these threads, around the valve or where the hose comes out. But the challenge is, how much of this stuff do you want to keep yourself versus selling? I bet you could sell it. Yeah, I just say, hey, Tether, you be good. I think it is good overall. I think one of the, again, the biggest barrier when I'm doing this is calculating and figuring the shipping to get it to our location. There's not many. The closest liquidation companies to us are California. We have done via trading. I've done clothing. I'm not a huge clothing reseller, but I have bought case locks. From via trading, and you know, the entire process for them was pretty good. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for jumping in. The entire process dealing with them was good. I've done bulk BULQ. That the process through them went relatively smoothly when you consider. Oh, look at that! When you consider just communication, number one. If my order is not going to be shipped, just let me know. So you know, those two companies I had success with. This one, you know, maybe one day my heart will soften and I will give them a try, but I probably won't be going through directliquidation.com. And just so you know, I was a little butthurt too. I was excited to be a member of the PS101 Facebook group, but they kicked me out because I questioned them jumping in on my behalf and trying to talk to Direct Liquidation. I'm a businessman. I can do my communications myself. I thought it was a group where I could voice concerns and issues that I was having with different, or successes that I had with different liquidation companies. But evidently that's not a forum for that, because they like to try to resolve issues with their partners before putting the problems that you have in the Facebook group. You know, more power to them for whatever purpose that group is, you know, whatever their purpose is. But when you start calling these companies partners, when I felt it was a forum to discuss experiences with direct liquidation or liquidation period, pallet purchasing, and I don't know. That is really why I got kicked out of the group, because I told her, the person that runs that over there, that I didn't need her talking on my behalf. But anyway, I'll get past it. As you can see, this is the, here, let me just flip the camera around. We'll go through real quick. I thought I could switch this. There we go. Just give you a quick tour. This is the inside of our ice cream truck. Those dressers, nothing super special there. I could actually use my lift gate, but I'm choosing not to. This is out of one of the houses we purchased. This one I kind of like, just the curved drawers. Uh, the curved front there. And this one over here, this one has some damage to it, but it'll run fine through our auction house. It's just a desk. And coming back out, there's what we just went through. So, folks, that is what, with shipping, $670 buys you. And excuse the jittery. And just a quick shot of our storage unit that we have to put some of our stuff in. It is getting to be a mess. This came out of the storage unit we purchased. The reason I kept that, I'm going to actually pull. These are, I think they're old Fisher cabinet speaker, or not cabinet speakers, tower speakers. So these speakers are shot, but the big ones down there, those are probably going to be pumping speakers. So we went and pulled that out. Some of the stuff that we kept, we got some promotional Pepsi umbrellas there, cues, just some of the stuff that we're picking up out of these houses. There's a odd table here, tires. I had somebody that was supposed to buy. Oh, I picked up these Hoosier racing slicks here. I don't know anything about tires. So I don't know how they're supposed to look. But I had a guy that was supposed to come over and buy those. I was actually just asking $25 a piece for him because I don't know anything about them. But we started bringing our Christmas items because, if you've been doing this, there is a lot of Christmas stuff everywhere you go. This one house we bought had an abundance of it. So I brought some of that stuff over. This are actually one of the storage units that we did buy. We bought it outright from a individual before it went to auction. And it's a learning experience. We're giving him that chair back. It had some sentimental value. Yes, we have soft hearts. Just to kind of give you, this is a 20 by 30 shop. No, 10 by 30 shop or storage unit. Thought that got an old gardening cart there, handmade. I had like 4 chests that came out of that house. Done pretty well with those. Electrical lights. As you can see, we buy just about everything. And some of it now is just sorting through it and finding out, a lot of this is going to be fine for auction, which, pushing it through our store is really what we're trying to do. The balance between the whole thing about running the auction, there's a little barber's chair there. Some of the stuff I bought at auction as well. If I ever had a chance to sit down, I have an office chair there. Just kind of give you an idea of some of the stuff we're coming across. But running the auction, the thing is, in order to get quality consigners, you have to have bidders. And in order to have bidders, you need to have quality consigners. So just starting this out, I'm finding I have to source something I didn't anticipate. I did think I was going to be sourcing myself for the auction house, but to the extent when you're first starting, our first auction was 100% sourced by me. And I would say at this point now, 3 months in, after 3 months, I would say about 60% I'm still sourcing, and with the revenue generated from the auction house. But we're starting to see an increase in consigners, which does bring in an increase in bidders. So we're happy to see that it is growing. But just like anything else, don't let anybody try to tell you that any of this is easy, because it is definitely time consuming. Anytime you start any type of new venture, any business. I think if you don't think there's going to be a lot of work involved, you're naive. So just keep that in mind. Just like, if you're just selling on eBay, local marketplaces, or local markets, whether it be Facebook Marketplace, Facebook buy sell groups, um, uh, the ones that I don't use, Lego, and somebody else could help me out with the other one. But there's a lot of work involved, and it's different work, but it's a lot of work all the same. Whether you're having to count Macari, thank you. Whether you're counting the time involved, whether you're I'm gonna try to set this down so my arm doesn't get tired. Whether you count, whether you have to figure in time involved with um, meeting people, setting up meetups, all of it adds in. Going out and sourcing your items, going out and just putting in the effort to get it sold. There is a lot of work involved. So if you guys don't see that, or if some of you aren't resellers and you're thinking about getting in the game, just make sure that to understand that there is time and work involved, and it's not a piece of cake, as I feel sometimes we think. It is hard work. Um, so yeah, definitely golf wins. And so that's my only words of advice is don't believe that any of these hustles or games are easy. And if somebody's telling you, they're just there to make a quick buck off of you, and just trying to keep it real. Anyway, I have to get all of this stuff put in, somewhat organized. I'm going to drop that. Bang. I have to get all of that stuff put in here. So that means I don't have any more time to just chit chat. So I'm going to have to let y'all go. I appreciate all of you jumping in and watch as I do this live stream. I try to get content out as much as possible, but again, it seems like time fights against me often. If you're a new subscriber, I want to welcome you and thank you for jumping in. If you've been subscribed for a long time, hey, thanks especially for maintaining, staying in here and being a supporter. It makes it all that much more worthwhile to do. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all go. We'll catch y'all later. Peace out. If I can figure out how to stop it now. Thanks.